Hey, what's going on, everybody? We got the new YouTube kind of set up, and I have to figure out if I like it or not. I don't like all the empty space. I don't understand why they did that. But it's time for my Splinterlands Town Hall recap video, and I'm going to be a little bit critical of the team on this one. Mainly because when they tried to start out, they did a quick tutorial. If you want to check that out, you can check it out, but mostly it was a waste of a time unless you were really, really new. And then they went into the proposals. Now, they put out 4 proposals this week. They did them very quickly, and they talked a little bit about other stuff, and then they got into that, and it was just kind of weird. Let me just double check. I mean, we'll talk about Rooney's after this, but the SPS proposals. So Matt did a pretty good talk where he basically said, that he doesn't like that people are looking at Splinterlands like they're the gatekeepers of the proposals, but they are right now. And this is one of the things that I think he needed some pushback against, because they are the gatekeepers, because they haven't added player-led proposals. Because I can guarantee you that as soon as they put in those proposals, if it didn't cost too much money, I would have put in a proposal where I fixed what I thought was wrong with them. And my proposal might have passed and theirs might have failed. But that isn't there yet, because a lot of us players understand the community a little bit better, and I think could get proposals in that did enough for the players that the proposals are hurting to get them to vote yes. But instead, they're just willing to alienate a lot of the pre-sale buyers. And this is something I think is very, very dangerous right now. Here's something you need to understand. Pre-sale buyers like myself, Angry Chipmunk, and a few other people that I saw talking during the town hall were going, look, these proposals are going to screw us over. The people who were willing to get into the pre-sale, the people who are willing to run pre-sale groups for you, people who did buys worth of Chaos Legion packs where I was spending vouchers and money that added up to $20,000 when I was putting together a group that bought 7,000 packs and invested $35,000, which is a lot more than a typical player does, are all starting to think I'm not going to do a pre-sale again, because apparently the SPS system can just be used to be like, that pre-sale was kind of cool, but packs are kind of stagnant, so let's just give everybody a 20% discount for the next 100,000 packs. And you could put in that proposal, and if it got through, then that would happen, and the people who in the pre-sale would just get screwed. And the funny thing is, it's like if I decided to not get into the pre-sale and I had just cherry pick the good cards that I needed, like some people are doing, instead of completely supporting Splinterlands and just buying all of them and trying to get all of them to max level. I'm starting to think that I should become one of those players that just cherry picks the good cards that are usable, because I have a lot of high level cards that I don't use that often because I've been wanting to collect all the sets, but I'm losing some of that reason to do it because Splinterlands isn't protecting the value of those. They're doing stuff that is making it so that in theory, if this were to pass and people could buy Riftwatcher packs on the cheap, the packs would no longer resell around $4 because people would be buying them for $4. So that doesn't make any sense, right? That if you could buy them from the store, get airdrop points and resell them for $4, you're just going to dump them right into that marketplace. Now, sure, if DEC is at peg, then they don't get them at $4. DEC's been pumping. Maybe it'll pump up to peg, and then you could do this and there's no more discount while it's at peg. But it creates the situation where if DEC starts to go down, Rift Watchers is going to be that pack that gets bought and dumped into the market in an arbitrage opportunity. And I liked it better when that was happening to the Chaos Legion packs, not when it's happening to the Rift Watcher packs that you did a special pre-sale for, that you made us pay SPS for. And they have been holding up value very, very well at this point. And me and my group were just about to do another big pack buy, and now we don't want to anymore because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know where the community was going to land on this. And we'll look at the votes so far, but I still don't know where this is going to go because there's some big votes that haven't come in yet. But overall, I would just say he did a good job defending the proposal idea. He did a terrible job explaining if there's any vetting for their proposals. It seemed like he said that anybody on the team could just come to Matt and be like, hey, I think we should put out this proposal, or Matt or anybody could do that, and they would just put it out. And I don't like that, because if it's coming from the team, they have to understand that there's at least the representation that the team approves it. If the team doesn't want to give us that representation, then tell that person on the team to do a player suggested proposal once you have it working. If there was only like one person in the company that thought this was a really good idea, then they should have had to put their name on it, and they should have had to presented it to us, and it shouldn't have come with the power of the company behind it. Because every time they're going to put something out, I don't care, I don't care. When it's a team proposed thing, the assumption is that most of the team is behind it, and that specifically what immediately comes to mind is that Aggie and Matt are behind it. And they have very big SPS votes, and they are able to talk to all the other big players in the game and try to maybe convince them to go ahead and vote on these things, which I don't have any problem with that. Their stake is their stake. They have a right to use their voice and try to get other people to vote with them. Hey, that's campaigning. That's completely fine. But it's like you're using the power of the team to push through these in a way, because I think some players just kind of look at it like, oh, that's what the team wants, I guess we should do it. They're probably smarter than me. And I just feel like if there's no vetting for it, if there's no like team meeting about those proposals, if there's no like double check, like, hey, how does the team feel on this? Let's have a quick little internal vote. Because there's a few members of the team that have come out against the two proposals that came out today. And it was just overall, to me, it was an okay explanation that, hey, we can do any kind of proposal we want, but I don't personally, I don't really like that. I like the idea that I could do any proposal I want, because it's going to say Steve R82 proposes this. It's not going to say Splinterlands proposes this. And there's a big difference there, right? It's not going to say even Matt proposes this or Aggie proposes this. It says Splinterlands is proposing this when it comes from the team doing the proposal. So that's a little bit of a different thing, whether they like it or not. And that's just something I think that they should take into consideration and really do some vetting before they put out these types of proposals. The more controversial ones, I feel like, should be coming from players, not really the team. So that's kind of an interesting thing. And if you disagree with me, go ahead, let me know. But I know I've harped on this for a little longer than I probably should have. So let's move on to what else they talked about. Now, one of the major things that they announced here that actually makes it, I thought maybe would make it so some people would kind of vote yes for these, is that Lux Vega will be bought with DEC, and DEC will be honored at PEG, and vouchers will be able to use to get up to a 50% discount. They sounded like they said at $1. So if you're buying a $1,000 Lux Vega, you can get her for $500 if you give 500 vouchers. So vouchers should pump a little bit. Let's go take a look at the market. And vouchers, yeah, up 1%, up to a quarter. These will probably pump once we know when we can buy Lux Vega, because if you can get $500 off or 500 vouchers and you're getting those for a quarter a piece, that is a pretty good deal. And then DEC is up to 7.6 now, so it's getting closer to PEG. We'll see if Lux Vega can push it there. I don't know. Like, I obviously need to get some Lux Vega. One thing that I'm not super clear on, and I need to maybe ask them in the next town hall, I have a voucher code for $300 off a regular Lux Vega and a guaranteed spot. So do I get it for $700 and then be able to use $500 worth of vouchers, and then I only have to pay $200 worth of DEC with it being honored at PEG? Because if I'm getting that big of a discount for going to Splinterfest, that's pretty big news, and they should make sure we understand that. Also, one of the things they didn't touch on is when the heck are we going to get our voucher codes? Those are supposed to be tradable, so if I didn't want Lux Vega, I could sell my $300 code to somebody for maybe $300 or $400 if they wanted the guaranteed spot. Who knows what the market would be for those? But if they don't give us those until like a day or two before the mint, they're not giving us a lot of time to see if we want to go ahead and sell those. So with somebody with a guaranteed gold one coming to me, I wasn't sure if I wanted to use it, and I hope I get at least a few days before the mint starts to be able to trade that code, so hopefully they get it to us pretty soon. Now, this obviously a lot of this news is helping DEC, just the Lux Vega thing. I think the where is Chaos packs are going up because DEC is going up, and Rift Watcher packs are going up here to 458. But if the Rift Watcher one goes through, I think we're going to see this start to fall off unless this continues to go up. If this actually gets to peg, then this can stay at the 458 value. If not, I don't think it can. If we'll take a quick look at the proposals. So I voted no on both of them, and so far the no votes have it. It's a little bit closer on the Rift Watcher packs. So far it looks like the node validators is got a bigger no. And we'll just see if, so we got one really big player here with a no. Brave Tufu, he's a big one. Cryptomancer, he's a big one. Bubkey actually voted no here. He voted yes on the other one. So that's kind of interesting. You did see Matt Clark wanted to do this. The Praetorian, I don't know him as much. I know Cyberblock, he beats me up all the time in Modern. Stop doing that. He's against it. Aggrod is for it. Byzantine said he would vote no for these, so he did vote no. And he has 2 accounts, so he voted no with both of those. And those are some big no's. I was going to see if Neil McFadden was on here. He's a big voucher holder. He's talked a lot about buying node holder, and so I was wondering where he kind of stood on this. I hadn't heard anything, so he might be waiting to come into this. You did see, I don't see SPS Dolphin on either of those votes, and they have voted on things in the past. I'm pretty sure if you click here, we can see some of the big votes that are missing. Monster Bank, we haven't seen vote. This name was not here. The Gamer Credits has not voted. These ones were, I don't think I saw Michael there yet. We didn't see Jester there yet. We didn't see Fighter for Freedom there yet. Queen of Monsters, we didn't see. A few of these other ones, I think, we're not there yet. And so we would see those come in. As you can see, we're about 80 million votes short from how many votes were on this one. So these could change, because if 80 million people vote yes, that would change this into 120 million yeses to 57 no's. And, that might push this one over. This one is not looking as good, though. This one only has 33 yeses. So there's definitely some people supporting this that are not supporting this. All right. Let's get back to the rest of the town hall. Here's the stuff about Lux Vega, so that was pretty cool. Roonies were kind of interesting. If you have a whitelist allow spit, it does make sense, it seems, at this point, to try to get that 0.19 mint done, because the floor is holding above that at about 0.25. Some of them dip a little bit lower than that to get sold right now. Maybe people are selling them kind of quick. I do hope to see that before the public mint starts on Thursday, that we start to see less of them under the 0.38 Ethereum. If we do not see less under 0.38, I'm not going to mint another one. Instead, I'm just going to buy one that's in like the 0.25 that has an item that I want. And we got the items released to us today that were legendary. So I'm going to be looking through and see if anybody maybe has an epic weapon they're selling kind of cheap because it's on an ugly Rooney. Because I did not get good weapons. And this is definitely one of the things with the guide now being out. I think a lot of people are going to be able to kind of pay attention for certain things that people might not have noticed. The guide is here to download on the recap post, so I'll have a link to this in my video. You can download it. It's pretty big. I opened it up. It was a giant file. So in general, it's like really done really nice, and it shows you all the different pieces and their rarities and stuff like that. But you're going to have to be like on the site comparing them to what's out there to figure out, what people have. I found out that Popper Topper hat that I have is an epic, and the Flaming Sword that I have is an epic. So those are like the two best traits I didn't get any legendary traits, I don't believe. So I got a lot of epics. I got some rares, and I got 2 epics. I got some rares, and then I got a lot of common stuff. So my Roonies are not that rare when it comes to their traits. But then again, all the cards have the same stuff in the game, so, and hopefully have the same access to other things. This was all on the SPS proposal, that everything that's put up to a proposal by a team, they did stress this. Everything they put up, they don't expect to pass. I just hope they understand that when they put something up and they put their name behind it, it seems like they want it to pass. Not that they expect for it to pass, but when the team wants something, there's going to be some people, I feel like, that'll just support it because they feel like the team wants it, as opposed to pushing back. then again, if these both fail, then I will stand corrected that the community is not just going to go lockstep with the team. So we'll see how that goes. Here's the stuff on Las Vegas. We already covered that. There is a new potential partnership announcement for December. We'll have to see what that is. And one of the things on the Roonies that they did want to say is that they are planning on announcing some special stuff that they'll be able to do, possibly on land. That makes me feel more comfortable with getting my hands on a couple more cheap Roonies because I have a lot of land. So if people want to sell them relatively cheap after the public mint happens and I can pick them up for like 0.2 ETH, I probably will. And then I can see how you wouldn't do that if you're not a landholder. Otherwise, you only really need one Rooney. But they did say that there's trying to be some other stuff. Also, be very, very careful on OpenSea. There was a really sad story I read about a player who was on OpenSea. They were looking at the trending projects. They got kind of brought into one that said it was having a free mint. And so I don't know how they got that onto the trending page, but it was a scam site and it stole all the NFTs in his wallet. He was relatively new to Ethereum. He just thought, hey, I have a little bit of ETH left. I can take a free mint for something that looks interesting, and his Rooney is gone. And there's not a lot they can do, and it's just, Splinterlands cannot say anything, but if you're on OpenSea and you're on the Rooney project that has a blue check mark, which they have a link to here, right? Here's the drop page, but if you are here and you go to your profile, and here's my Rooney, see, that's my epic, and that's my epic. This stuff is common. This armor is common too, so these two are common. I thought that one might not be. I need to double check on this one. I think this is the only one I have that might not be common. And I need to double check if either of my backgrounds are epic, because there's a couple epic backgrounds, and then the regular colored ones are just rare, and obviously the gray ones are common. All of my heads are common, I believe, which is kind of a bummer. So like I'm looking maybe for some rare heads. I'm looking maybe for some rare weapons, because these ones are all common weapons. But I did get an epic here and an epic here. This helmet is rare. But like this one is like stock common. This one is stock common. This one has a rare background with common pieces. So just a quick look at my Roonies for anyone who hasn't seen them yet. Oh, one of the other things they talked about in the DAO that was kind of interesting is they were trying to say like the DAO is only in charge of SPS, like vouchers and things that are within the DAO ecosystem and the DAO chain. It was kind of hard to tell, because all these proposals are stuff that were changing within the game, like the prices of packs and things like that. But it sounds like that, they tried to understand that, anything the DAO proposes and approves that is under control of the DAO will be implemented. But at the same time, non-DAO items are ultimately up to the Splinterlands company to decide if it gets implemented or not. And so I don't fully understand where that is. It's kind of like saying that they could put forward these price changes, they could pass them, and then they could decide not to do them. So, or the burns, same thing, right? Because the DAO doesn't directly control burning the packs. The Splinterlands team is going to have to do that. So I don't know. That whole sequence was a little bit weird. I kind of always understood that the Splinterland teams could say no. Like we couldn't put through a proposal and push it through with the community support that said Splinterlands has to give us all a check for $10,000. They would just say no. They're not going to do that. That's a pretty extreme example, but it's just something that we should get into. One of the things that was kind of interesting, they did say from creative, we'll see. They changed the character to replace Oost for the first airdrop legendary card. They basically said they made this kind of weak glass cannon character, and they made him like this all-powerful dragon. They said it didn't make any sense, so they changed it to a new guy. So we'll take a look at that because it's down here below. And we did say, there is a QA server now with the tech modernization on it. I need to play around with that because I should have access to it. I just got to double check where it is. And then there is kind of a hope. They really, really want to push to have some land stuff done by the end of this year. They did harp on that. UI talked to the creative team, and Nate talked about themselves really, really working hard to get all that land stuff done. And they really might have something to show us before the end of the year. I think it would more be just claiming and seeing what lands you have and stuff like that, and possibly a land marketplace on the site. And then one of the other things that was pretty exciting that they told us is DEC will be paired against all of the different stuff that can be mined on the lands. So everything's going to have a DEC pair, but then they're going to make it work like Rune, like the Rune, I forgot the name of the project, but Thorchain, where everything is paired against their tokens and stuff like that. But what it allows you to do is you can swap from one asset to another asset, and on the background what it will do is it will do a swap for deck and then a swap for the other asset. But you can trade wood for stone, and you would just say I want to trade 100 wood and I get however much stone depending on the price of stone, and you don't have to trade it into DEC and then use the DEC to buy stone. We can do swapping back and forth of our assets, but it will all be based on liquidity pools that are paired up against the DEC token. That's going to create a massive DEC sink. If you talk about the fact that we're going to have to fill up those liquidity pools with DEC, and we have to pair up our items to it, it's gonna be pretty amazing, because if you have like 20 different assets that can be farmed, that's 20 different liquidity pools that are going to be out there that are going to need to have DEC plugged into them to mix into this grand pool where everything can trade together. On Brawls and Tournaments, the updates, I think Weirdbeard, you know, for everything he did, the first Splinterlands Open, I think 337 total participants is kind of low. And the thing that worries me about this is if we wanted to get some big sponsors to come in and do open tournaments where we all get the same cards and we all KYC and stuff. I mean, I played in this. It didn't have the same feel as the one at Splinterlands. I did okay. I got like, I don't know, like 55th place or something like that, which isn't great out of 300 people, but I got more wins than losses. I didn't do as good. I think I kind of forgot during the thing that I had access to all the cards, so I wasn't looking to use cards that I don't normally own. So I have to make sure that when I play in the next one, I remember, okay, you have all the cards. You can go use those dice ones, because I forgot that I had those, and I don't usually have those cards on my regular account. Congratulations to the winner. They're here. I only really recognize Super Cow out of the names here, so it is good to see some new names winning these open tournaments. But at the same time, I think the KYC part of this could be why this is so low, but it is like a scary thing, right? There's supposed to be a lot of players. This was a free tournament with no SPS required to get into it. So guys, if you didn't play, why didn't you play? You could have just played for fun, tried out all the cards, been able to make decks with all the cards that you've ever wanted to. So I really hope the next one, maybe people just didn't see it. I know it was just listed like a normal tournament. They're looking for a way to better show you what those are. Splinterlands had a funny clip of the week because if you watch it here, they gave away a land plot. So a land plot was donated to Axel Twinblade. It was within his wheel. He spun it and somebody won it. So that was pretty cool to see a land plot given away. On the tentative release notes, we're getting some tech modernization stuff hopefully being put into the system. Some of the changes that are being applied are listed here. The affiliate program page is possibly getting an update. The login page. They said a lot of this stuff, you're not really going to notice big changes, but it's more about the way the coding is working on the back end. There's some bug fixes in the Gladiator system. Oh yeah, and they fixed the little problem where if you had 2 level 2s of a card and you were playing with it, they would just randomly pick one of them. So then you could go to delegate one out and it could be on a cooldown when you delegated it. Now it'll use the same card every single time, even if you have multiples at the same level. So that's a nice thing. They're also adding Splex GG, which is the rental card service and the front end for the Archmage bot settings, to a banner on the page like Peak Monsters, Monster Market, and Card Auctions. So I think that's a pretty good idea. Splex GG has become a major player within the third-party rule sets. Our third-party developers. We got 3 new rule sets. That's why I said rule sets. So this is kind of cool. We're going to have a Thorns rule set, which basically just means don't use melee monsters. A Magic Reflect rule set, which means no mages are going to get used. And a Return Fire one, which means can't use those archers unless they have Reflection Shield. Then that doesn't apply. So it's I like these rule sets because not only are they relatively simple and easy to get in there, it brings more value to the Reflection Shield monsters and the reflection field ability. So some of the cards that these 3 rule sets might pump in value just really quickly. We'll go take a quick look at the market, and then we'll look at the Rift Watchers, and we don't need to be looking at gold. Look at regular. So you've got the Ash Mage, because this one picks up Reflection Shield at high levels, and then you also have the Runic Skyclaw. So this one picks up Reflection Shield, and the Corsair Bosun has Reflection Shield. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anyone that has it, but I think those are the main ones. And the Watercaller. The Watercaller picks up Reflection Shield. So this is a card that's very interesting if you're playing in gold or higher, because it has a stun, it's really good for reverse speed, and it has Reflection Shield. And, you know, like in that magic rule set, you could still use this card, catch them off guard because you have some magic and you're not taking that damage. So Reflection Shield is getting a little bit of love by these 3 new rule sets that are coming into the game. I think I'm going to end it there. During the question and answer things, I really didn't think anything got answered, or a question, like nothing that was like really mind blowing. It was kind of short this time, all relatively simple things. They did talk about possibly, doing away with collection power requirements if the new changes to lower rewards for lower level cards used in the league does the fix that they want. Then they might just get rid of those collection power bonuses, which would be kind of nice, because then you actually could buy, you could buy just the cards you wanted and get them to leveled and not have to actually rent for power anymore. But that might hurt the rental market a little bit. So that's kind of an interesting thing that they said. For the Roonies, they did say they're working on special things, so we'll see what kind of special things they might be able to come up with. Transact is having some issues, but Binance Smart Chain just finally opened up Hive again after the hard forks, so this could be coming to an end, but just know that's why. So, and here's the cane. So see, this is kind of a better one. I think it had like a 5 attack with 2 health. I forget the stats. I need to look them up, but I don't remember. I'd have to look up one of the past AMAs and find his stats again. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there, guys. This was a longer video because I was on my soapbox a little bit. So we're going to end it really quick with a spin of the wheel and give away 2,000 DEC. And if you hung out till the end, you get to see who wins. If not, then you're going to have to find out later. It looks like Holden Us is going to win. I don't really recognize that name, but congratulations. I'll send you your 2,000 DEC. Oh, I put it in 1,000 again. It's because I used to give away 1,000. Oh, winner. Somehow I copied everything there. That was weird. Holden Us. Transfer out. And thank you for hanging out with me, guys. Make sure you make a comment on the linked post if you want to get in on the next 2,000 DEC giveaway. Good night, everyone. Well, or good day. I'm sorry, it's nighttime for me.